Image Radio is on the air. Golden Image.
Oh, I finally got a crap this game.
Rock on.
Oh! Wow. No, 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 no.
Hello, Golden Image Podcast listeners. It is I, Golden J, hanging out here on the Golden Odyssey Series. Interesting people doing interesting things. I got a really special guest with me tonight. He is a 3-time podcasting host. He is a musician. He is a video producer. He is a drummer. He is a father-to-be, and he plays the occasional round of golf. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know him, then there's something wrong with you. This is the Chico noise. It is Gunnar Golden. What's up, bud?
Not a whole lot.
Or should I say, what's up, big dog?
What's up, big dog? Mr. Sexy's Pizza. And what's up, big dog?
Yep. That's how
you start any conversation.
You can't go wrong with either one of those.
No, they both work. I think I've been saying that to you for, oh gosh, since I was in college, probably.
Yeah.
What's up, big dog?
It's been a long, long time. He actually brought me a Snickers bar one time that says big dog on it.
That's right. Share a Snickers with the big dog.
With the big dog. Well, it's interesting. These last couple episodes are going to be quite something, I think. So I'm excited to jump into this one with you, and excited for the next and the final in this series, episode 9. I'm hoping that our listeners really enjoy these and have enjoyed all of the Golden Odyssey series, but I appreciate you coming on and filling in here and doing this one. And let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
All right. So like I said, I broke it down, people. Chico has a long list of things that he does. Let's start off with the podcasting one.
Okay.
So I personally know why you got into it, but explain a little bit why you got into doing the Call Guys and Golden Image and all that.
Well, Golden Image came first, and it was one of those things that once Skyler told you about the MurdNerds, it was like, okay, let's get this thing rolling. It was a thought, right? Golden Image Radio, was it 2008, 2013?
Mm-hmm.
It was something that you were super into before podcasting was a thing.
Right.
And then, 9 years later, here we are doing actual podcasting and releasing with all the technical things that you didn't have that you have now.
Right.
Whether that be Skype and Zoom or Riverside or just the studio in general to have people come in and do interviews, which you had back in the day, but now it's more apt to actually set that stuff up.
Right.
So Golden Image Podcast was an idea, and then we started doing it. And in the midst of that idea, we were talking about we should do the Colton Call as a segment on that show. So Colton and I tested it out, and Colton and I do weekly phone calls. And on those weekly phone calls, we talk about movies, talk about video games, talk about sports, football mostly, because I don't care about any other sports. But and we recorded that first episode, and it was 45 minutes, and we had talked about it only being a 15-minute segment. So we told you, and you're like, "No, you guys got to do your own thing."
So how did I flash back? How did you actually record the first episode? Was it just a recording on your phone, or did you guys do a Zoom call, or how did that work out?
It was a Zoom call.
Okay.
Before I actually did the subscription to Zoom, and had some issues during the first part of that where I couldn't record more than an hour and 15 minutes or whatever. So it would kick me in the middle, and then I have to go back and restart and find the cut points and do all that. But it was Zoom. Colton and I did it because he lives in Fort Wayne, and obviously I'm here. Well, I was in Plymouth at the time, so yeah, it just became that weekly phone call just recorded. And
Well, and I'll tell you right off the stop, off the top is that Gunnar brought me the recording and said, "Here, this is what we did." And I remember sitting down and just listening to it for the 45 minutes, and I was like, I'm just listening to them just go back and forth. And I did. I called him up. I said, "Hey, yeah, this is not going to work as a segment for Golden Image Podcast. This is going to have to be its own entity, and you guys need to put this together." Now, what was that phone call like to Colton when you told him that?
I think more so I think he understood because it was, I don't know, it was one of those things that it was supposed to be 15 minutes, but it ended up being 45, and then it was like maybe he's right. And we had talked about it also before we even talked to you, and that maybe this should be its own thing. And I think we even talked about it that night we recorded that hidden that what is
The demo?
the hidden episode. Yeah.
Episode -1.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, he was more excited, I think, and don't think at the time he realized what kind of a commitment it would be in
Right.
doing, a weekly because we record week by week. We hardly ever do a backlog. We don't like to record 2 episodes in a week unless we have to or we have
Right.
the opportunity to. So he was excited, and I think even more now that we're 70 episodes in,
Right.
71 maybe at this point, but I think he's more excited to get and talk every week because now it's just a flow thing. Now we're just doing it and we're excited to do it, and we have different topics and great guests that come on. So,
Well, yeah. I mean, you guys have actually had a lot of guests come through. So,
oh yeah,
what you had Jake the Snake,
Snake Plissken,
Snake
and
Plissken,
his brother, Little J,
Little
and
J, yeah.
Chris, CT1209, the Skywalker, Logan, the Emperor.
Uh-huh.
Arian was on for an episode. Coach Rob came on. Montana's been on. Jared's been on. Lucas been on. Sydney helped me do a
Mhm.
Disney episode after our vacation. So yeah, it's been. I know I missed some in there, but
Oh, I'm sure
Tony,
of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Rob Starwind. Yeah, we've had some great guests and some really knowledgeable people come on and just talk about whatever we're talking about.
Well, and you guys do a great job of matching those up. I mean, what is it? CT what?
1209.
Okay, so Chris, CT1209, he is a Star Wars freak.
Yeah,
And
along with Nick and Tony also.
right, right. But I mean, you guys keep matching him up on those Star Wars episodes, and it just works. It works really good. So you guys are doing a great job of putting your guests with a really good subject. I mean, Arian and Anchorman was a
Yeah,
classic move.
yeah, it was perfect. It just worked. But we've had our hiccups. I mean, we had computer problems. I had computer problems, and getting that fixed, we missed a week. I've traveled in between doing episodes,
Mhm.
and I always somehow managed to record while I was there and get an episode out, which was sometimes a hassle, but I mean, not always. I mean, I spend times in hotel rooms, and I recorded while I was there, and I made the audio work. And one time, Chris was with me while traveling, so we
Right.
recorded an episode with him there. And I mean, yeah, it's fun. The variety's fun. We have some really fun ideas, and um, life happens, so we get we push some of those ideas back. We're supposed to be doing a Call Guys Go to White Castle episode, which we have the idea and we want to do it instead of driving the car, going to a restaurant, and we're going to order food and then drive home.
Right.
And it's one of those that we keep talking about, but we have to push it off and push it off because we just don't have the time to do it. So
Yeah, yeah, time. And well, and that brings us into our next little segment here. The Call Guys, we gonna have an episode of the Call Guys having babies, or because Chico's expecting, his wife Sarah's expecting in October. It's about what, mid-October, somewhere in there. And
yes,
Colton and his wife are actually expecting early October. So, like, are we gonna have an episode of like the Call Guys go to the hospital, or
the Call Guys have babies,
the
and
Call Guys
the Call
have
Guys'
babies?
wives have babies. No, actually, that's we haven't really talked about this with our listeners at all, but we're taking around the idea of having a Quarter Books and Booze come in and do a couple episodes on anime and just kind of their niche things that they like. So when the babies do come along, it'll give us a couple weeks to take off so we can
Right.
attend to whatever we need to do and hang out with the wives and make sure everything's good with the baby. And so that'll kind of be exciting to have a couple weeks off, and I'll help Skyler out through that process too. But I'm excited to take a little break, I guess, and see how they do on our podcast and see if they take the reins and really run with it.
It'd definitely be interesting to see them take over the call guys. It'll be fun. I'll enjoy watching that.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. It'll be new to my ears. It'll be
It
great.
will be. So now this kind of falls into what you actually went to school for, though, too. The podcasting is a little bit different than what you went to Ball State for, which was you come out with a degree in telecommunications.
Yes, with a focus in digital video production. So a lot of video editing using different programs. Screenwriting was a big part of that. I had a minor in screenwriting and film studies. And then I did a couple other little things, not really anything big. I did a minor in insurance just to fill classes when my junior and senior year. But yeah, I've always been into movies, and I thought it'd be interesting to go to school. And Cody, we've talked about him before, went to Ball State and said the telecommunications program was awesome.
Right.
So that was like I'm gonna go study film and learn how to do a lot of things, which I did learn a lot of things. Unfortunately, this area is not great for those kinds of jobs unless you move closer to Chicago or move out of state closer to Atlanta and LA. But yeah, the podcast stuff is not to the level of that. The wedding videos are a little bit closer, but this gives me my dose of it, enough of a dose of editing and doing all that stuff. So,
and that's something else, is that you do a lot of video, wedding videos where you go. Well, just tell us a little bit about what you do when it comes to that.
So, been doing wedding videos since sophomore year of college. I think I did my first one, and that was just me dipping my toes in just to try it out and see how it went. And I think that was Cody Miranda's wedding, the first one I did. It might have been junior year of college. I don't remember, but the first thing I ever actually filmed and put out a video for was the I'm Thankful For, which was a video I did with two of my buddies from college, Trent and Toby. And we went and recorded a 5K. And I didn't do any editing. I just went and I filmed that whole race with him and drove around the golf course on a golf cart and got some fun shots. But so we did that, and then I was like, well, I could do wedding videos, and that would be a good way to make some extra cash on the side and just have fun,
right?
And still continue to learn programming and doing all the video editing and stuff. So I've done 8 or 9 weddings, I think, in the last 5 years.
Right.
But yeah, well, it's one of those things that's fun to spend the day and just do that. And you DJ, and you understand how being a part of a special day for somebody else is it's just memorable and fun.
Yes. Yeah, if you can bring yours is on video that you can give to them down the road, they can remember their special day. I'm there to throw the party and get them dancing and having a good time for the evening. And it's always good when we get hooked up into the same wedding, and then we're hanging out in the evening. We've done that a couple times.
Yeah, twice in the last year. So.
It's true. Well, hopefully, Golden Mojo Entertainment will be able to adapt that part of what we do into the actual business portion of it, and we can just quit our day jobs and do that all the time. Boom.
That would be cool. That would be worth it. Spend all my time out there recording weddings. That'd be fun.
It would be. It'd be a good time. But yeah, you spend all day there. I don't necessarily spend all day there, but you get there early in the morning to get the getting ready shots, and then he's usually still shooting into the reception, at 10 o'clock at night. So,
I go for the bride getting ready, and then I go to the venue normally and take shots, sunrise shots, early morning shots, whatever I can get of the venue before people are there.
right.
And then I spend some time with the guys and get some shots of them doing whatever they're doing. And then I go back to the girls and get some more shots. And then usually it's the first look and with the father and the groom. And then I do shots of them. I always follow the photographers. 90% of the time, the photographers have way more experience than me. So they've been doing weddings for a long time. People don't pay for cheap photographers. They want somebody that's going to do a good job.
Right.
So I follow them because they know how to position them. They know how to do the good motion shots and all that stuff. So I get a lot of good from following and learning from photographers. And then I stay through the wedding, the dances, the reception, and whatever else they're gonna do. I try to get the big moments, and usually it's a 9:30 to 10 p.m. gig, and that's okay with me. It's worth it in the long run.
It is. It is. You're there, but I mean, it makes for a long, long day. That's for sure.
And then a long time editing. So
yeah. So let me ask you this: is there something else that you have been kind of kicking around that you want to do in the video edit, the video production world, or besides just weddings?
Yeah, short films have always been something that has been fun to me. I did a lot of sketch comedy in college and spent a lot of time doing like little shorts. But I've always wanted to write a screenplay and do a short film.
Right.
And maybe submit it to a festival. I no like big dreams with that or anything. I just would like to use my skills a little bit more than I do now. But anytime I get a chance and I come up with an idea, I try to write it down, make a script. Doesn't happen very often. The last one I did was the gender reveal for the baby. I mean, I had an idea, I wrote it all out, and I filmed it, and it took me a half hour to film it, and then 20 minutes to edit it, and we posted it. But there's a lot of things I could do that I would love to do, and I think finding the time is the hardest part. But I need a good team to help with that also. And I have some buddies that would love to do it too, but once again, it's finding time with them. So
right. Yeah, very much so, because it is. I mean, I've shot videos. You've shot videos with me for the Crankshaft Glory stuff, the Tiki Lounge stuff that we did.
Some great videos.
They are some great videos. I'm very proud of all of them, for sure. My editing skills are not, the greatest, but I was happy with the turnout of them. But it's very time consuming, and when you work a 9 to 5, and you've got to squeeze all this other stuff in the evenings, the few hours that you have when you're not spending it with your wife and you soon with a child, it's going to be but never give up on that, man. Keep trucking away at it, and don't stop don't stop the train. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
there's always ideas, and I always have ideas, and like I said, I try to write them down. At least I'll remember them in a year from now and say, well, maybe I could start trying that and doing
right.
that.
Right, exactly. So let's talk about your 9 to 5, since we kind of segued into that. Give us
6:30 to 2 to 6:30 to 3:30. Yes.
Well, straight out of college, let's start there, and then let's get into where you're at now.
Yeah, straight out of college. Like I said earlier, my junior and senior year, I decided I'm gonna find another minor. I wanted to do something else on top of video to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Well, that backup plan became my front plan, and I didn't want it to, but it just how it worked out. Especially because I started dating Sarah, and she was still in college, so I had talked about moving to like Atlanta and trying to find a job in film.
Right.
And it was, I was like, I don't want to leave Sarah. I started this relationship, and I'm enjoying it, and she's at Ball State, and I can spend time with her whenever I need to. So I was like, well, I'll try to find a job in insurance. So, my first job out of college was at a state farm, and I sold people insurance. And I actually enjoyed the job for what it was. It just wasn't what I wanted to do. And there were some other things that just kind of were blah at the point, and I was ready to get out. My boss was fun, and the people I worked with were fun, and I met some
Hmm.
great people. Um, but it was time for me at that point. 1 year, I was there for a year, and I got out, and I went back to the place I worked during the summers while I was in college, which is Digger Specialties. It's a fencing company, and I went back to the job I had when I was there. They knew I was going to work hard, so went back in and I became their packager for, oh gosh, 2 years. I was their packager there.
Right.
I'm growing my arm hair back, and it's already come back. If anybody knew me when I was working that job, I looked like I was wearing a mitt of hair, and I was
It's
missing
true.
all my arm hair.
It's true.
Um, loved it. It was a good workout every day. I got into work, and I was sweating, always having a good time, and I learned a lot. And but it was one of those that was just a physical job. A lot of opportunities came along, and I applied for supervisor jobs and positions, and just kept missing. I just kept missing. Um, so I It was 2021. Sounds right, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be right. Sarah and I got married, and when I got back to work after our honeymoon, I was approached by my boss now, and the kid that was doing the job before me was leaving to go to a different place to do the same job he was doing at Digger, and I had no clue this was going to happen. And they're like, "Hey, you want to come up and just chit chat with us?" And I was like, "Well, sure, that's fine." Well, my boss at the time had, like, a couple days before, had given me a fortune cookie thing that said, "You're next in line for a promotion." She's like, "You do such a good job," and she missed the supervisor position that I was applying for, and she's like, "You're next in line. It'll happen." And I don't think she knew about this position either. So they took me up and they were talking. And it was this really cool, laid back kind of CAD based job where I'd be doing, work in AutoCAD and Venner, and working with other plants. And because Digger has 6 plants, I think, total. I'd have to look, but so they were like, "Hey, yeah, we'd like to, just talk to you about your experience is and what you could do in this job." So, long story short, I got the job, and I've been doing that for almost 2 years now, which is a really, really fun experience. So,
Well, and there's a few other things that came with that, right?
a lot of work.
Besides a lot of work, but you actually helped put together one of the new plants that they did in Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, yeah. Spent a lot of time out in Pennsylvania putting that plant together. And I did a lot of work helping them get that plant all put together. Um, Met a lot of really good people out there, and I spent a lot of time with them out there, and that's where a lot of that traveling came with the call guys. And
Right.
um, it's been a fun thing to do, is start that up and just kind of learn machines and setups, and just really come up with and help that plant grow.
Right. But that's a long ass haul out there, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta love that. You gotta love those long drives to PA.
Yeah, and the PA drives are long, and the Kansas City drives are long.
Yes. Well, there you go. Kansas City, long time Chiefs fan. There you go. See that? So tell me, what did we do a couple years ago?
Yeah, it was a big step. We've been Chiefs fans for a long time. I've been a Chiefs fan since I was born, pretty much. And you've been a Chiefs fan for a long time.
Long time.
But long time. Became season ticket members of the Kansas City Chiefs,
Yes.
and split them. So we got 2 seats, and you and Mom go, and me and Sarah go, or me and you go because Sarah can't go. Um,
I feel so bad for Sarah sometimes because it's like last year there was something going on and she couldn't go, so I ended up going with you. like my longest week ever, because we were at the game the weekend before, and then we had to be in Kentucky, and then I come back and get one night in my bed, jump in the car with you, and head back out. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved every minute of it, but I'm looking forward to going to a game with you this year because Sarah's pregnant and it's the baby should be here by then, but I don't think
Well,
she's
the baby will be here by then.
well, it should be. I mean, if you look at the calendar, it definitely should be here.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm looking forward to heading back out there again with you this year and enjoying a game. We had so much fun last year. Enjoyed every minute of it. And yeah, I don't know. It's great being in Kansas City. Tell me about your experiences out there.
Oh, let's see, Sarah took me to my first game.
Right.
We were dating for a year, and she knew I was a big Chiefs fan, so she bought me tickets. Great seats down 10-yard line. We were like 20 rows up, and
Did I ever mention how jealous I was because I
yes,
hadn't been to Arrowhead yet, and I was like,
yes,
oh, I think I was working at George's the night that game aired when you guys were there.
yeah. It was an awesome experience, and ever since then, we got to go back, and I think I've been back about every year since. Does
Well,
that sound
and
right?
just so everybody knows that, that was right around Christmas. I don't even remember the year, but the following year, Gunnar and Sarah bought 4 tickets, and all of us went.
Yep.
And they took me and the rocker chick, and we got to experience our first game in Arrowhead. And yeah, how amazing that place is like home now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I went with Darren during the winter, also, and we went to an AFC playoff game, the Colts Chiefs,
Yep.
Colts at Chiefs, and Darren and I drove out in a blizzard, and it was a blast for the experience it was. I mean, we drove out, we watched the game, we walked in during the national anthem, watched the game, got back in the car, and drove home because it was that bad outside that we were just ready.
Yeah.
But it was a great experience, and we saw Andrew Luck's last game. We watched the Chiefs win, and then go the next game and lose against the Pats. I'm pretty sure. But no, it's every experience out in Kansas City has been worth it to some length, and I will forever be a Chiefs fan, and I always have been, and
Always will be.
gotta love Patty Mahomes. That's all I gotta say.
Well, all I know is that as a season ticket holder, we always opt in to buy the playoff tickets now, and I have been fortunate enough to go to the last 2 AFC Championship games, which have been hosted in Kansas City. And if they host again this year, which I mean is definitely a likely scenario, Sarah and Gunnar, you guys, those tickets are yours. You guys got to go.
Oh well, yeah, that'll be the plan. You guys can watch the kid for
Yeah, be
for a
happy to.
weekend. Yeah. I need to get her out there this year somehow, and that might be the only way to do it. So
Right.
Kansas City, you better make it to the AFC Championship and play at home.
Well, you
And
can go to any of the playoff games that you want to out there. So it doesn't just necessarily have to be the AFC Championship game, but
yeah, it does.
I'm what am I? I'm 1 for 2 on AFC Championship games. So
That's okay. That's
one
okay.
lost one, but that it's still pretty amazing. Yeah, Arrowhead is an amazing place to go. The people are great. Even the other opposing fans, besides the Raider fans, but every fan base that we've run into out there has been pretty great. And yeah, definitely looking forward to getting back out there this year.
Yeah.
Got lined up. I think I'm going to 3 games this year.
Yep. I've got 2 for sure.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. So tell me a little bit more about some of your musical experiences that you've had. I mean, you've been playing, you've been drumming for a while now. I mean,
Yeah. How old was I? How old was I when I started drumming?
all I can think about is that hair that you used to have back there
Oh
drumming.
yeah, hell yeah. So let's see. It was before I was 10. I think I started wanting to play the drums, and
Right.
I remember telling you I want to play the drums. And I think he handed me a pair of sticks and said, "All right, beat on your knee and till you get a beat down, right? Like
Right.
that was the thing. And then I used your old Ludwig kit with the Joe Montana
Uh-huh.
bass head on it and played beat on that for years. And um, let's see, I mean, in high school, Skyler and I tried to put together a band. We called Weeks Later, and we played with my buddy Kai Slough and our neighbor girl, and we had fun with that for a long time. And we jammed with Cody Craig for a while, and he was a pretty good guitar player, bass player for what it was. And then I went off to college, and I didn't really play a whole lot of music. I mean, I jammed with a couple friends I made there, Aaron and Ben, and then they had a band called the Kill Goals, which I somehow managed to sneak in to be the drummer for that band for a while. You had actually come down and watched us play at Be
I
Here
did.
Now,
I
and
did.
it was a fun band to play in. The music was that psychedelic crappy music. And, Aaron had a great brain for music, and he had a lot of fun doing it. And they jumped around drummers for a while because they always had people that wanted to play with them, and they were good. We played a lot of house parties. We played Be Here Now a couple times. We played a show in Indianapolis. I can't remember the name of the bar we played at, but I overall enjoyed that whole experience in college because I got to play with people that I'd never played with before,
Hmm.
and it was fun. House parties were a blast to play, and I know you probably played a bunch of house parties too, but um, especially in college when the you got a packed house and the floor is just turned into a wave, and like you can feel the floor like moving, and people are mosh pitting. You're not playing heavy music, but people are mosh pitting, throwing stuff around, and it's fun. I was protected back in my corner with my drum set. I
Right,
didn't have to
right.
be out in the middle of those people. Best experience though, playing with the Kill Goals was at Aaron and Ben's house, the house we practiced in. At a big party, and I invited Sydney and Lucas.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
they don't know that crowd of people, right? So they're in there, and these people are mosh pitting, and the music's, there's a band called Pat and the Pissers, and
Nice.
they were awesome. The lead singer was an awesome guy, and they had some great music. We actually played that bar in Indy with them,
Okay.
and they they were that crazy, like get everybody in the crowd moving, like
Hmm.
they had really good energy, and they were always jumping around. And Sydney and Lucas just jaws dropped as everybody in there was like bonking heads and throwing each other around. And I'm like, yep, this is what it is. I mean, this is what a good concert is. I mean, people are excited and having fun, and it
Hey
helped.
Sid. Hey Sid, it's no Taylor Swift concert. It's way better.
Yes, it is. I've told her that, and I know Taylor Swift has a lot of energy and gets the crowd going, right? But
Yeah. Yeah.
there's nothing better than going to a rock concert. And I got Sarah into that kind of music. I got her to go see um, A Day to Remember and Beartooth and a bunch of other bands, and it was her first rock concert. And we didn't have floor. I'm glad we didn't have floor, but
Right.
standing. We were up in the seats, and me, her, and Courtney went. And actually, Colton and Brie were there too. They were down in the pit, and we
Oh
were up
my.
in the seats. But you just watch the people, the waves of people. And Sarah said it was the most like electrifying experience, and it was. It's great. I've been to Rockfest multiple times, and it's that same kind of feel. You got a
Right.
big crowd of people excited to watch these bands that they've loved for years. And um, but yeah, so the Kill Goals happened. I graduated college, and I didn't really play a whole lot after that. We did Whiskey Nightmare
Hmm.
and played Families Helping Families and jammed quite a bit and played a wedding at one point. And um, that's about it for music. Because I mean, I don't play nearly as much as I should now. But coming up here in a few weeks, actually, after this comes out, we'll be doing another Families Helping Families. So
Very true. Very true. It is coming up very quickly. August 12th. Yeah. So it should be a couple weeks after this pod comes out. So go check it out. Solid Rock Church in Rochester, the Families Helping Families benefit. So just as a side note, after that, yes, I did go down to Ball State. I did go to Be Here Now and watch the Kill Goals and Gunner play with them. Um, there's nothing in the I don't give a shit who you are if your kid plays music and you get a chance to go see them play. It is the best situation ever. I've seen Gunner play in a different band. I've seen Skyler play in a different band. I've watched Montana perform on stage, when she did her deal with Dylan when they did that thing. There is no better feeling in the world than watching your kids perform and doing what they love to do. And yeah, I those are moments that are embedded in my brain forever, watching you drop back their drum and Skyler, remember he was standing off to the side. He wasn't even actually on the stage. He was standing down by
Yeah.
because there wasn't enough room on the stage for the amount of people that were in that band.
Yep.
And it's absolutely amazing, people, to be able to go and see your kids play musically in bands, or even theater stuff is pretty awesome too. So that's my
Yeah.
little side note on that.
A great experience of being in the Kill Goals and being, well, really anytime I've played live on a stage or anything like that is I'm left-handed. So if I have a kit, I got to go up to the sound guy and say, I need some mics switched because this is going to change over. So in between bands, they have to go up and, I mean, I set up my kit or whatever, unless we're just doing a shared kit, and they got to go through and I got to move the snare over and I got to move the hi-hat to the other side. And like, it's, it's fun to do. And I mean, I got to switch, I even got to switch toms. Like that's the,
Hmm.
you get, I think a lot of the time I end up playing a one tom kit because they wouldn't have to switch it over at that point.
Right,
And
right.
it was just funny because they'd be like, I don't see a lot of lefty drummers. Well, you got one.
Yeah, that does make things a little bit awkward sometimes when you're doing multiple bands on one night if the drummer is left-handed. I also ran into a situation where the actual drummer had two bass drums. Most everybody just used a double pedal. And yeah, the sound man that night was just mad as hell that he had to run a whole new line for the second bass drum. And he was just pissing and moaning the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was laughing at him like, come on, man, this is your job. You didn't do
Yeah.
nothing the rest of the night but just sit back there and move a couple freaking faders. You'd be fine.
One fader up, that one down. Yep, we're good.
Yeah, so we did the Whiskey Nightmare stuff. I always felt bad that, because I got to the point where I had just done so much, and I really wasn't wanting to go back out and do a full-time band gig, and I always felt bad for you guys because I didn't want to feel like I was holding you up, but I was happy that you were there. I was happy we were doing what we were doing. And like I said, when you got into the Kill Goals, I was thrilled for you because you got a chance to go do those things.
Yeah, and play all original music. That was the other thing too.
Yeah.
Is Aaron wrote all his own music. He actually, when he recorded for Bandcamp and uploaded his music, he recorded all that himself in his dorm room.
Right.
And I let him borrow my electric kit I had at the time, and he recorded on that. Um,
You mean
I play-
Williams Electric Kit?
Yeah, now it's Williams. But my thing's always been I don't read music. I've never learned how to read music. I don't know. So I play by ear.
Right.
And that's how I learn a lot of things. And I never really had the urge to try to read any music or anything. So it's always fun. And especially with Aaron, I listened to his music and I would just listen on repeat until I really figured it out and got it down. And it wasn't always spot on, but it was a learning curve, and I'd figure it out and I'd play my own way a little bit. And yeah, he was really fast paced though. That was
Yeah.
his thing. And it was a little harder for me. I've always been a old rock and roll kind of drummer, which is not really that double bass or fast pickup music. It was always,
Right.
easy 4 beats and stuff like that. But
Right. Exactly. That's what the old school music's all about, man. Just a nice flow, good rhythm. Although some of those double bass fills and stuff like that are pretty awesome too.
oh yeah.
Well, you are also a disc golfing dabbler like me. We kind of got into that for a while. But now
Mhm.
you've kind of moved on to just trying to get out and playing some regular golf these days.
Yeah, it's a hobby I picked up randomly. I've golfed a couple times. Darren and Lucas go out, and I'm like, yeah, I'd love to go golf with you. And a couple years ago, I bought Darren's old clubs off of him when he got some new clubs, and
Uh-huh.
I didn't use them. I didn't play at all, and maybe once a year. And lately, it's just been one of those things. Lucas had his birthday, and we made him some scorecards to go out and play with buddies. So I was like, I need to play just to get a little bit better. So I started playing. I was like, oh, maybe I could get good at this, and so I started playing even more. And I've been out 5 or 6 times in the last couple months, and I'm planning on going out even more. And
Right.
disc golf is my first love, that's for sure. And I was getting pretty good at disc golf too, but it's a like golf, it's a seasonal sport. You can go play in the winter, but it's not nearly as fun in the winter as it is when it's warmer outside. Um, but yeah, I could rip a disc pretty well, and
It's
go
true.
pretty far. But I actually joined a club in college for disc golf and played in that club for a while, and
Right.
met some really cool people doing that. And definitely, I miss playing. I think I should get out and play disc golf some too, on top of actual golf. But
Right.
I've definitely been enjoying actual golf, and I want to thank Golf Plus on the Oculus for that one.
Oh, the Oculus. There's something we need to get back into. We
Ping pong.
we haven't played ping pong in forever. We used to play when he lived in Plymouth. We would get on the Oculus and just play a game of ping pong. And
Yep,
I need to get mine charged up and get it back on and mess around with it a little bit more. This Oculus is so much fun.
it is. I've enjoyed VR, and I've always been a gamer. I've always played, and I used to play with Jared and Colton and Lucas, and that's really how Colton and I met. That's the start of the call guys, is playing video games. And um yeah, we got the hockey. You got an Oculus, and you let me try it, and then it was like, I need one of these, so I got one. And
What was it like an hour later? It was ordered.
pretty much, yeah,
Yeah,
that was spot on.
yeah. The Oculus was one of those things that it was like one of those expensive toys that you're like, do I
I don't
want
need this.
that? Do I need it? Am I going to use it? And I ended up talking your mom into buying it for like my birthday or Father's Day, or I can't remember what it was, but so I bought it, and yeah, I'm like, Gunner, you got to get over here and try this thing out. And I don't even think you left my house before you
No,
had
I'm
yours
pretty sure.
ordered.
I'm pretty sure I had it ordered right away. Worth 100% well worth the purchase. Now there are better VRs out there, but the Oculus is a really good like hobby VR.
Yeah,
If you don't want to put the money into it and actually like put the time into it, Oculus is the way to go. You plug it in, you charge it. You don't have to have sensors. You don't have to have all this stuff. I know like PS5 has the Vive, and they have, or the Vive, I think that's what it's called. And that's really expensive and really high quality. And then you can get a bunch of, I think it's PSVR actually, but you can get so much more on those. And now with Steam and being able to hook an Oculus up to a PC, there's a lot of other options for that too. So quality's not as great, but it's fun. It's a good hobby game. Hobby.
but the Oculus still looks really, really good.
It does. There's some really cool games out there that look realistic. Like Golf Plus does feel like you're actually playing golf, and Ping Pong feels like you're actually playing ping pong. And some of those Star Wars games you can get that feel like you're flying a ship, or you're a Jedi, and all this stuff.
Did
It
I
gets
ever
to be really fun.
did I ever tell you that I actually downloaded? I bought a flight simulator. It's like they're old airplanes or whatever. And yeah, the first time that I flew, I made myself sick.
Oh, geez.
I got vertigo while I was doing it. I
Oh, I
had to
can see
take
that.
I had to immediately take the goggles off because you literally when you would dive, your whole body felt like it was, in that airplane diving down.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a little crazy. But I went ahead and played. I kind of got myself situated with it and played a little bit more. But yeah, it was
I
insane.
need to take you up to Combat Ops in the Fort Wayne and do their VR setup they have there. You can do, 30 minutes for whatever, and you strap in and you're actually on a pad that you're running in real time and doing all
Really.
this stuff. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. And it's fun. We did it for Skyler's bachelor party when we went up there, and VR has just been one of those things that's got hooked on, and
Yeah.
I've enjoyed.
Yeah, VR is a lot of fun. I remember actually my very first VR experience. Me and Craig Stouter used to do our annual Christmas shopping trip where we would pick a spot, and then the Monday night it was always a Tuesday, because the Monday night before it was always the Dolphins and the Chiefs were always playing on Monday night. It would just seem like there was like 4 or 5 years where in December those two always played each other. And we'd stay up late and drink and watch the game and then get up and go shopping. Well, this particular year we were in Fort Wayne at the mall, and one of those back portions of it, they had a VR game set up. And this was the one that you crawled into the big circle and they locked you in and strapped you in. They put the goggles on you and you had the gloves and the controllers on that. And I remember walking around and inside of this, now thinking back, very pixelated, very blocky VR, because, this was back in the 90s and, early 90s. But I remember stepping off the edge of the building and just falling. And I remember looking down and looking up as I'm falling, and how cool that was. And so VR has always been a thing for me, but just now, with Oculus being affordable and the way it is, it's so much nicer. So yeah, we definitely recommend the Oculus for that budget friendly, even though it is kind of expensive.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Download Golf Plus.
What is it? Golf Plus.
Golf Plus. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get on tonight and download Golf Plus.
Yeah, I don't remember how much that game costs, but it was totally worth it.
It was worth it.
Yeah. Really
Maybe the price will come down by the time I can get on there and get it.
It's possible. It could happen, but
you never know. All right, my man, we're kind of round about that time. I want to thank you for doing the Golden Odyssey series with me. I always think you're an interesting person, that's for sure. And I think we got everything covered. Can you think of anything else that you'd like to talk about?
Got some really cool parents. If you ever want to listen to the United States Paranormal podcast, go check that out, because they're both on there, and it's great to listen to them and Jen just talk about the paranormal. And yeah, they've influenced me a lot through my life. So there's a lot of good in me that came from them. So I'm interesting because they're interesting. So.
We formulated the interesting, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we share our brain. We talk about this sometimes, and the things we've done. You've heard it on Call Guys episodes. Like it's we've done things where we just say the same thing at the same time. Or
it's true.
Yeah. I enjoy listening to this series and can't wait for your next episode. And I might be on that one. Who knows?
You just don't know.
And then what you plan on doing for the season 2 of this when it does come around. So
yeah, we'll figure something out. I just like I said, this has been great. We worked with some great people along the way. I'm very thankful to all of them for giving up their time to come do this. That includes you and Josh Ortiz and Jamie Bostel and Chuck Josie and Julie Morgan and A-Dog. And there's a load of people that did this with him. So I'm so grateful, and we'll bring it back for a season 2. Don't know when, but I just need to focus on a couple other things, and this is one thing I'm just gonna end for a minute. But you get one more episode. After
one
this
more.
episode, you're gonna get one more. Just one more.
Yeah, I want to give all the listeners out there something to do.
Yeah,
something to do. If you're watching on YouTube, you see my wall. If you watch Call Guys, you see my wall. Go watch this movie right here, Rockstar. Go enjoy it. That's all I gotta say.
Is that going to be a new random thing on the Call Guys? Is like, hey, listeners, just go watch this movie, A Knight's Tale, right here.
Are you busy tonight? You can go watch A Knight's Tale. It's so hard to point. It's all backwards.
I know.
But yeah, no, yeah, go watch Rockstar. I've
Watch
influenced some people to watch it, and they've enjoyed it. So, um, and Colton actually told me the other day that he had a guy at work come in and he was talking and he said, "Have you ever seen the movie Rockstar?" And Colton's like, "Oh yeah, I have."
I seen that movie twice in the theaters before I ever bought it on DVD. It's one of my all-time
Yep.
favorites. What a great movie. And it's even greater to go back and to realize that the guy that plays Thor, the singer,
Yeah.
is Miles Kennedy, who has gone on to perform with, Slash and um crap, was it I'm drawing a blank where he was at too. He was in a band that is very popular. I think it was with the guys from Creed, the guitar player and whatever, and came out of Creed. Alter Bridge.
Yeah,
Was it
there you
Alter
go.
Bridge?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. Okay. But Miles Kennedy, an amazing talent, and was in that movie. And you look back and you're like, holy shit, that is them. But yeah, great movie. And
Yes.
a lot of cameos and that you don't know until way later.
Yes. 100%.
100%. I think wasn't Rat Tail in that movie? I do believe Rat Tail was in that movie.
Yep. Yep.
All right, well, we're gonna get out of here. Chico, thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
We gotta get this wrapped up because he's got to actually record an episode of the Call Guys here in just a little bit. So I'm kind of squeezing in between takes here. So yeah,
You kept me busy the last 2 days, so
I
it's all
have
good.
been extremely busy the last 2 days. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for checking out Golden Image Podcast, the Golden Odyssey series. Interesting people doing interesting things. We hope you're liking what we're putting out so far. And if you do, go check out, if you like what we're doing, go check out and rate and review us. Get on Apple, get on Spotify, give us a little 4, 5, 6. Give 6 stars if you can. Figure out how to do that. We'll take 6 stars.
How to give 6.
How do you find out how to get 6? Of course, we love the emails, goldenmojoent@gmail.com. We love to hear from everybody. We have a great family of listeners out there. A lot of them, do email us. They email the Call Guys. They email United States Paranormal. They email the Golden 80s. I mean, I love the emails. So keep them coming. We love to hear from the listeners. Also, you can go check out Golden Mojo ENT.com. We all have our pictures up there so you can see all of the podcast hosts and get a little description on the podcast. Plus, we have a great merch store, which we are continually working on all the time. Go buy a t-shirt. We need the love. Go support a Golden 80s t-shirt. Look at how beautiful these shirts are. or you get a Call Guy shirt or a hoodie or a hat. You see he's wearing hats?
So it's just the old logo hat, and this is the first hat I ever made.
Yep.
And I needed a Call Guys hat because they wear a lot of hats, and I throw the old logo on there, and I do have one with the new logo, but yeah.
I do too. I have the old one and I have the new one.
That's right.
I got to keep up on these things. Also, if you'd like Golden Image Podcast, you can also check out all the other ones. Like I said, you can go to goldenmojoent.com and see all this, but you can listen to them too on wherever you listen to your favorite streaming platform. But you can check out the Call Guys. You can check out the United States of Paranormal. We got Indiana Chiefs fans back. The Golden 80s. A Court of Books and Booze, and you can always look at the backlog of MurdNerds as they're on hiatus right now, but they're working on getting back in the studio to record some new episodes. So their season 2 is coming hopefully soon. So, but that is the Golden Mojo Entertainment family, the empire, as we like to call it, as we continue to build. And we're grateful for all our listeners, and thank you guys so much for tuning in and checking out the Golden Odyssey series. And you know what? We'll see you again in a couple weeks for our final installment of season 1. Should be a good one. You don't want to miss this one. It's very entertaining. Very entertaining. All right. Until next time. Later.
Golden Image Radio is on the air. Golden Image.
Oh, I finally got to crap this game.
Rock on.
Oh! Wow.
No, no, no!